Ethan Cole is used to control, the kind of control that makes empires move when he speaks, markets shift when he blinks, and people bow when he walks into a room. But tonight, in the sleek glass walls of his penthouse office, overlooking the city that worships his name, he can't focus. His hand is frozen over the keyboard, his mind spinning back to the one woman he swore he wouldn't think about again. The one who played him and won. Across town, Ava sits in a quiet cafe, her laptop glowing against her face, her expression unreadable. The screen shows numbers, stock patterns, algorithms, data streams that once belonged to Ethan's private empire. She's calm, sipping coffee like she isn't rewriting the power balance of an entire company. People glance her way, drawn to the quiet confidence that follows her like perfume, but no one dares approach. She's untouchable. The kind of woman who learned to weaponize silence and turn heartbreak into strategy. Ethan's assistant, Claire, knocks softly before entering. "The Tokyo deal is waiting for your approval," she says carefully, eyes flicking to the untouched glass of whiskey on his desk. Ethan doesn't respond immediately. His gaze is fixed on the skyline, but his mind is trapped in a memory the moment Ava walked into his world 6 months ago, wearing ambition like armor. She hadn't been like the others. No flattery, no fake charm. When she sat across from him in the boardroom, her confidence was surgical. "You're underestimating your competitors," she had said, calm and sure, flipping through his company's presentation as if she'd written it herself. He remembered the smirk that followed. "Or maybe you're just bored of winning." That line had haunted him, because she was right. He had been bored until her. Now, every sleepless night feels like repayment for the arrogance that made him think he could own her. She had joined his company as an analyst. Sharp, fast, brilliant. Within weeks, she'd decoded systems his tech team had been refining for years. Within months, she was indispensable. And then, without warning, she was gone, leaving behind a digital trail so elegant it took his entire cybersecurity division days to realize she had NT stolen from him. She'd outplayed him. The city hums outside, neon lights flickering like electric veins. Ethan finally stands, loosening his tie. His reflection in the glass looks almost foreign, tired, human, vulnerable. "You wanted a challenge," he mutters to himself, voice low. "You got one." Meanwhile, Ava receives an encrypted message on her phone, a private number. Just 3 words. "You miss me." Her lips curl, not quite a smile. She types back, "You wish." Then she locks her phone, pretending it doesn't make her heart race, because it does. For all the games, all the power moves, she knows Ethan Cole is dangerous, not because of his wealth, but because he sees through people. He saw through her once and she won't let it happen again. But something new is happening in the markets. An anonymous investor just moved $200 million into a company Ava is quietly backing. Her chest tightens. Ethan, he's found her. Back in the penthouse, Ethan's team scrambles. Screens flash, alerts ping. "Sir, the offshore transfers you asked for, they're in place," says Jason, his CFO, looking uneasy. "But if we go further, it's going to attract federal attention." Ethan's tone is calm. "Good, let them watch." He knows what he's doing. He's baiting her. Every move she makes online leaves a signature. Every trade, every transaction, every whisper of strategy, it's all part of a digital chessboard only the two of them understand. 3 weeks later, New York hosts a private gala. Billionaires, politicians, and media icons gather under chandeliers that cost more than most people's homes. And there she is, Ava, in a sleek black gown, every eye turning toward her like she's gravity itself. She doesn't belong here, but she makes everyone believe she does. Ethan spots her across the room. For a split second, neither moves. It's not romance, it's recognition. The kind that says, "You're the only one who knows what I am." He crosses the room slowly. People partying as he passes. "Didn't expect to see you here," he says, voice even. She lifts her glass, meeting his gaze. "That's because you don't expect people to show up unless they on your payroll." He laughs under his breath. Still bold, still arrogant. There's tension, sharp and magnetic. Conversations around them blur into background noise. "You took something that wasn't yours," he says quietly, leaning closer. "You should know how this game ends." She tilts her head. "Maybe you should stop calling it a game when you're the one losing." Then she turns and walks away, leaving him standing there, furious, intrigued, alive. That night, his private jet leaves for London. Hers does too. Neither admits they planned it, but But in the high-rise conference room of a global tech summit, their names appear side by side on the speakers list. Every journalist in the room senses it's something electric between two people pretending to be rivals, but radiating the kind of energy that headlines are made of. Ava presents first, her voice steady, her data sharp. The future belongs to those who adapt faster than greed can keep up, she says, looking right at him. Ethan's turn follows. He smirks, starts his presentation with one line: "Adaptation means nothing if you don't control the rules." The crowd applauds, but between them, it's war. Behind the scenes, private deals shift, partnerships fracture, investors whisper. Someone leaks a confidential document from Ethan's company, proof of internal manipulation. Reporters go wild, stocks tumble. His empire starts bleeding. He knows only one person could have. Ethan doesn't sleep that night. The city below him pulses with light and noise, but all he hears is the sound of his empire unraveling quietly, efficiently, without mercy. Every alert on his phone feels like a warning. Every whisper in the market a reminder that someone is several steps ahead. And Worski knows who. At 3:14 a.m., he sends a single encrypted message: "We need to talk. Now." Across the river, Ava reads it on her screen, her fingers hovering above the keyboard. She shouldn't answer. Every instinct tells her to stay silent, disappear, let him drown in his own arrogance. But something about the tone sharp, stripped of ego makes her pause. She types one word back: location. 2 hours later, they meet in a place neither of them has ever been seen before, a rundown parking structure beneath a closed shopping complex. The kind of place billionaires never go unless something's gone catastrophically wrong. Ethan steps out of a black SUV, no bodyguards this time, just a grey hoodie and the exhaustion of a man who's been awake too long. Ava stands by her car, arms crossed, her expression unreadable. "You look terrible," she says flatly. "You look like you planned it." He shoots back. "I warned you. You warned me after you lit the match." She exhales, tired. "You don't get it, Ethan. You're not the target anymore." He studies her face. "Then who is?" Ava glances toward the shadows. "The people funding you. The offshore accounts tied to Liren Holdings. They're not investors. They're fronts. Government-connected shell companies. They used your empire to move influence money through global markets. And now that the leak started, they're going to clean it up." Ethan's voice hardens. "Clean it up how?" She meets his eyes. "By erasing anyone who knows too much." The silence between them stretches thin. For a moment, all he can hear is the hum of a broken fluorescent light overhead. He steps closer. "You expect me to believe you're suddenly on my side?" Ava's jaw tightens. "Believe whatever you want. I'm trying to keep us both alive." He laughs under his breath. "You think I'm scared?" The story detonates across the world, like a digital bomb. By sunrise, every major network is running the headline: "Global corruption scandal tied to billionaire Ethan Cole's empire." The footage is everywhere, his face on screens, his company's logo blurred behind red text, screaming exposed. Reporters camp outside his offices. Investors panic. Markets shake. But Ethan isn't there to see it. He's somewhere no one would ever look, hidden deep in a rural estate outside Berlin, one of his few remaining safe houses. He stares at the flickering newsfeed, jaw clenched. "They're not just trying to ruin me," he mutters. "They're rewriting the story." Ava sits across from him, exhaustion shadowing her eyes. "That's what they do. They'll make you the villain until no one cares who the real criminals are." He turns toward her, the blue light from the screen cutting across his face. "Then we change the story." How? By surviving it. For a moment, the only sound is the storm outside, the wind against the glass, the low rumble of thunder. It feels like the world is collapsing in slow motion, one headline at a time. Ava scrolls through encrypted channels on her laptop, tracking every mention of the leak. "They've traced it to an IP in Prague," she says finally. "It's not me, and it's not your servers. Someone's amplifying the data drop. Someone helping us, or using us," she says darkly. Ethan moves closer, reading over her shoulder. The username attached to the leak appears again and again. Spectre. No photos, no trace, just a signature on every file. "Who the hell is Spectre?" Ethan asks. Ava shakes her head. "No one knows, but whoever they are, they've got access to everything. Even files are encrypted offline." Ethan takes a slow breath. "So we're not just running from Liren anymore." "No," she says quietly. "We're in someone else's game now." The next morning the power cuts out. No warning, no storm damage, just gone. Ethan's instincts flared too clean, too timed. He moves to the window. Outside, two black sedans crawl up the gravel road. We have company. Ava's already packing the drives. They found us. Not yet, but they will. He opens a hidden panel in the wall inside. A small arsenal of contingency tools, fake IDs, encrypted phones, cash, passports. Ava raises an eyebrow. You really live like this? Paranoia built this empire, he says, handing her one of the new IDs. Now it might save it. Minutes later, they're gone through a back tunnel leading to the woods. The sedans pull up just as they vanish into the trees. Men in dark coats step out, scanning the property. No words, just methodical silence. Hours later, Ava and Ethan emerge on a quiet back road, breathless, clothes streaked with dirt. We can't keep running, Ava says. Every time we move, they follow. Ethan nods. Then we stop running. He calls in an old favor, an anonymous hacker, known only as Lynx, a ghost from Ethan's past, dealings in the early days of his company. They meet that night in an abandoned train depot outside Warsaw. Lynx is young, sharp-eyed, with a laptop that looks like it's worth more than the car they arrived in. You two stirred up the entire dark net, Lynx says, typing rapidly. Spectre's been active for years. Blackmail, leaks, manipulation. They're not one person, they're a network. And guess who funds them? Ethan's pulse quickens. Don't tell me, Liren, Lynx finishes. You're right in the middle of their They wake before dawn. The world around the cabin muted and white with frost. The drive sits between them on the table like a sleeping animal's. Maul silent, potentially lethal. Ava traces the ridges of the casing with a fingertip, as if testing whether it's real. We release it at once, she says, voice steady. A timed drop to every major outlet, social channels, regulators. No single point of failure. Ethan shakes his head. Too easy. They'll bury it fast. We need a spectacle, something they can't spin away. She looks at him, surprise flickering across her face. You think theatrics will beat their lawyers? He's not smiling. I think spectacle forces attention. It forces Himmler's chairman, the puppet masters, into the light. Once they move, they reveal themselves. Ava studies him, weighing the risk. You mean bait them? Exactly. He pushes a map across the table. Red dots mark media hubs, financial centers, regulatory offices. We hit all of them, same time. Then we hit the men behind the curtain directly, public testimonies, encrypted documents, live disclosures. No time to bury. She leans in, and Spectre, he taps the drive. We use Spectre's move against them. We give Spectre what they want, the chaos, but on our terms. We reveal the parts that implicate Liren. Spectre wants ruin. We give them ruin that brings cleaning crews to the right address. They work through the morning, voices low, building a plan like surgeons mapping a procedure. Lynx provides root-secure channels, burner accounts, untraceable servers. Ava drafts the narrative, surgical and precise, while Ethan reaches out to one person he knows will draw eyes, Claire, his former assistant, now a respected anchor at an international network. He knows she still owes him a favor, or maybe she owes the truth. When Claire answers the call, her voice is cool. You vanished, Ethan. The feed has me chasing ghosts. I need you to carry a story, he says. Not spin, the raw truth. You expose what you can. Live. Silence stretches. If I do this, there's no coming back. Then do it right, he says. Find the human-angled documents, victims, names. Don't let them dress it up. Claire's hesitation crackles over the line. Then she breathes. If I run this, I run it my way. No interference. You understand? He agrees. It's not a favor. It's a transaction with truth as the currency. That night they move, dressed in plain clothes, eyes rimmed with sleep. They reach out to journalists, whistleblowers, and the contacts flow in, people who've been waiting to be heard. Victims of false charities, contractors paid in cryptocurrency, anonymous testimonies that stitch into a pattern so ugly it hurts to look. The plan takes shape, a coordinated cascade. Social platforms, streaming networks, live interviews, leaked documents, and a timed push into regulatory inboxes. At 9 o'clock GMT, the first layer drops. An anonymous account posts a curated cache of documents, internal emails, transfer receipts, meeting minutes. Twitter ignites. Threads explode. Hashtags trend within minutes. The world watches. Ava's inbox lights up with people confirming abuses. Ethan watches markets twitch and then dive. Investors panic. Lawyers call. Boards convene. Lyran's stock plunges like a cliff. The puppet masters move. They always do. Spectre reacts, but not in the way they expected. Instead of amplifying, Spectre posts a single message. Well played. Continue. No celebration, just an acknowledgement. Ava's skin prickles. Spectre is amused. Spectre watches a chess game where two players think they're leading. Claire goes on air. Her voice is steady, and the newsroom reels at her tenacity. She doesn't sensationalize. She tells stories, a charity that laundered influence through orphan funds. A lobbying campaign disguised as public welfare. A file showing a minister accepting transfers traced to Lyran's shell accounts. She names names, shows documents, and asks questions that cut like scalpels. People watch. The public roars. But the attack draws fire. Lyran's legal team mobilizes, filing injunctions, accusing leaks of being fabricated, threatening lawsuits. Their defense is cool and polished money, buys spokespeople and plausible deniability. They plant doubt, and doubt is their favorite weapon. Ethan knows as much. He watches as pundits debate authenticity while children of the victims scream for answers on social feeds. Then, a turn none of them expect. Claire's broadcast is interrupted. Her feed goes static, mid-sentence, replaced by a carefully edited montage that rewrites context clips, spliced to make it look like she manipulated facts. The network scrambles. For a moment, viewers are confused, then enraged. But outrage fractures into distrust, and distrust is where Lyran hopes to hide. Ethan swears low in the cabin. They're controlling the narrative. Ava rubs her temples. They're using the same playbook we learn at the smear. The spin, the silence. They pivot. Lynx isolates the clip's origin, an overlay of nodes that point not to Lyran, but to a cluster in Singapore. Proxy servers, Lynx says. Whoever did this has resources that can rent identities globally. Ethan shuts his eyes. They'll keep escalating. They will, Ava agrees. But we've got momentum. Yet momentum doesn't equal safety. The following days are a barrage. Threats arrive in packets, emails threatening lawsuits, videos accusing Ava of financial terrorism, anonymous calls to Ethan's board accusing him of withholding evidence. Lyran's lawyers subpoena, intimidate, and distract. Old